Hey friends, welcome back. This is a synchronistic reading that has found you at exactly the right time. So sit back, relax, and accept that this video found you because the algorithm wanted it to. But what is an algorithm but synchronicity made out of ones and zeros? The reading prompt for today comes from The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell and Bill Moyer. And the quote is from Joseph Campbell. When someone becomes a judge, President of the United States, the man is no longer that man. He is a representative of an eternal office. He has to sacrifice his personal desires and even life possibilities to the role that he now signifies. To me, that speaks of a notion of standing on a threshold, standing on a precipice, the eternal dividing line between is and isn't. So let's ask ourselves, where did you come from? Where are you going? And how do you feel about it? So your snapshot card, the first card to be drawn, is the Six of Swords. Now, what that means is you're moving from choppy waters to easy waters. Things are getting better. Things are in the act of getting better. You are specifically in the act of making things better. When you look at the card, you can be any of these characters. You can be the mother taking care of a child. You can be the child that needs to be helped by the mother. You could be the man. We don't know what this guy's backstory is. He could be just the ferryman. The mother could have just paid him to row them across from a land of danger to a land of safety. Maybe he's the father here. Maybe he's the one that put them in the boat in the first place, and he's taking care of the people around him. You can be any of these three people in the story. But the point is, whether you're the person that has asked for help, has been given help, or is doing the helping, you are right now in that boat, going from the bad place to the good place, from choppy waters to safe harbor. Now that's your snapshot. That's what you're in right now. You're in that transitory phase. Now the biggest influence on you, the next card, is the Six of Pentacles. It's another six. One more and we get a jackpot. The Six of Pentacles is about, like, it's a helping hand. Now, look at the two images together. They're both sixes, but they also both have three characters. And how I kind of describe that first situation, this is literally what's happening on this card. It's one individual providing help for two others. I always find it interesting. If you look at these two guys at the bottom of this card, the card that precedes this is the Five of Pentacles. And I'm pretty sure it's the same two dudes. The Five of Pentacles card is the lack mindset card. It's the card that comes, this is the card that comes after that. This is the helping hand. And again, you can be the guy getting the help, the guy providing the help. But that's what the biggest influence is on you right now, is the helping hand. But what's on your mind during all this? That's the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is specifically the mind card. The four major suits of the tarot, the sword is the mind. And the Page of Swords is kind of like the equivalent of the Fool at the start of the major arcana. It's the guy that doesn't know what he's doing. The Fool is the guy that's literally running off a cliff. It's the guy before he picks up the sword. This is the initiate. This is the guy that's training on how to use a sword. He doesn't know much, but he's the most excited he's ever going to be about wielding that sword, because he just now got good enough to be good at it, but he hasn't gotten so good that he realizes how little he actually knows or how hard it's actually going to be. So this card is all about enthusiasm. Now that's your conscious mind, though. What's your unconscious mind thinking about? Now, another page, you get the Page of Pentacles. So of all four cards you've gotten so far, you got the Six of Swords, Six of Pentacles, and then you got the Page of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. So before we even judge what this card means, what that means is that you're getting a balance going. It's the mind versus the physical world. That's what the Pentacle is. The Pentacle is the third dimensional world. It's Minecraft on hard mode, where you have to dig for every little piece of whatever. The Pentacles is the third dimension. Third dimension is where reality gets sticky, where literally everything costs something. Nothing comes from nothing in the third dimension, where you're at now. But you've become an expert at Minecrafting in this reality. You know how to make something out of nothing, because there's never nothing. There's always stuff. There's stuff all around you, building blocks that you can turn that into something else, and you've learned how to do that. And the fact that your conscious mind is focused on the mind, you're getting your mind right. And your unconscious mind is focused on the world. It's on the physical world around you. What can I touch? What can I Midas touch? What can I take from nothing and make it to something? I really like that of the two cards we've gotten so far, the Sword and the Pentacle, so far you're perfectly balanced. But how did you get here? What in your past brought you back to that point? Your past card is the Magician. Now, the Magician card is the card directly after the Fool. Fool is the first card of the tarot card deck. It's called card 0. It's like I said, it's the image of the guy running off a cliff. Because it's what you are right now when you start any endeavor. No matter how well you plan, you never know what you're really in for. Now, the Magician, on the other hand, is the next card. This is card 1, 0 to 1. This is about the inescapable gap between is and isn't. It's what you get when you go from the Fool to the Magician. Is the Fool is the nothing, and the Magician is something. And the Magician isn't just the something. The Magician is the everything. The Magician has everything. Literally, he has the 4 suits. He has the Sword, which is the mind, the Pentacle, which is earthly mastery. He has the Cup, which is his emotions, and he has his Wand, which is his willpower. And he is the master of all 4. So this card is in your past position. What does that mean? It means that you've mastered something. You've mastered some aspect of reality. Whatever deficiency you found in yourself, whatever task you started out at, you've made it. You've leveled up. You're level 99. All your stats are 999 across the board. At least for this task, for this day. I think what's about to happen is you're about to shift from one reality to the next. You've mastered this game, and now it's time for you to go out and master the next one. And that's what the Magician card is. It's the master of this game. It's kind of like in school. You know, when you go from being a senior in high school, the next year you're now a freshman in college. You've gone from being, the big fish in the small pond to now being the small fish in the big pond. So that may be where you're in right now with this whole transition. Like I said at the start of the video, the difference between the idea of being a man and being an idea, of taking on a role to the point where your own identity becomes sort of subsumed to the role. You've become the kind of man who can do the thing. Now you're about to go do that thing. And to some degree, it's going to cost you. You're going to lose part of who you are, your identity, as you become subsumed to the role that you're trying to fulfill. It's almost like all the things you could have been will now cease to be because you'll just be what you are. Now, that brings you to the future. What is the future? The future was the King of Swords. So remember, what's on your mind right now? The Page of Swords. This is how you start out being a swordsman. And what is your ultimate future? It's the King of Swords. It's you being the sword master. You become the most leveled up. You become... The Magician card recognizes the shift. That was in your past. You've gone from that first... You've gone from being the senior in high school to being the freshman in college. Or maybe a better way to say it is you've gone from being a college graduate to now you getting a job. Let's go that way with it. Now you're starting your new job. Maybe you're the intern. Hopefully you're getting paid, but this is your first day in the mailroom, and the future shows you as the CEO. That's basically what's happening in this reading. But your current state has shifted. You're in the Six of Swords. You're in the car. That's what it is. You've graduated college. You've got your degree. You're in the car right now driving across country to your new job on the other side of the country. That's what's going on with you right now. Now, the influence, the Six of Pentacles, kind of like maybe you're being influenced. Maybe your dad's friend got you this job. Maybe there's some degree of imposter syndrome you're feeling. Maybe you feel like you've been given something you haven't earned. I'm not sure I've earned this credit. And that's fine, because you will. The whole point of the Six of Pentacles is that you can be anyone in this thing. So you've heard the phrase, pay it forward. If right now you are receiving boons from an outside source, a family friend, the universe, you don't feel you've earned it, that's fine. Just retroactively earn them. Make sure you live up to the example that you're being shown now. Make sure whatever help you're receiving, make sure you make it worthwhile. I'm sure when you're in a position one day to help people, that you also pay it forward. But you're shifting from one world to the next. You're receiving help doing it, and you are going to have to accept the fact that you are receiving help. And you're going to have to make a promise to yourself to help other people in the future. You've harvested your first crop, and now you're going to take those seeds from that harvest and parlay that into a bigger harvest next season. That's what's on your unconscious mind. And you've already done all the work. That's the good thing. You're the magician. You've already crossed that Rubicon from not to am. Your future is the ultimate expression of the road you're on right now. Wherever you're going right now is where you're going to end up. And where you're going to end up is at the top. Now, what's in your heart? During all this, we talked about the mind, we talked about the unconscious, but what's in your heart? And in your heart is the Wheel of Fortune. And maybe to some degree, that's, we talked about that Six of Pentacles energy. Maybe I'm not that good. Maybe I'm just lucky. But the Wheel of Fortune can still be you accepting the fact that fortune has smiled on you. That, it's like the Price is Right. You spin that giant wheel. You want to hit that $1. You want to hit that perfect shot. That's what you've done. You've spun the wheel. You hit the one. It isn't just a roulette wheel or a wheel of fate. It's also like the wheel of a ship, the wheel of the car that you're driving across country to your new job. Your hands are firmly on the wheel, and you're aligned properly, and you're driving down the road, straight shot to where you're going. You're not going to veer off, crash the car. You see the building, you see the city in the distance where you're going, the Emerald City, and you see the building you're going to be working at. The Wheel of Fortune is in your hand, and you're driving the car straight towards your new job and your new life. You're in the driver's seat. Now, what is that life? What does the greater world look like around you? You see the tower you're going to work at, but what's the city around you? And the card you got was the High Priestess. And what the High Priestess represents is that potentiality, that it's the card of deep mystery. It's not knowing what that future world is going to look like, but it's the invitation. You're being invited to lift the veil and step through. Veil makes me think of, there's a quote from Mad Men. Now that we're done haggling over the dowry, it's time to slip into the tent and spend a night with the bride. This is where you're kind of going now, is like you've haggled over the dowry. It's time now to enjoy the fruits of your labor and enjoy the fruits of the unknown and understand just how beautiful and satisfying the unknown can be. you know, because again, you're in the driver's seat. You're holding the wheel of fate. You've got the wheel of fortune. You've got the wheel of fortune in your hand. Wherever you want to go, that's where you can go. But what are your hopes and fears during all this? You know, what are your crests and valleys? And right now, it's the 9 of Pentacles. Now, again, we've got the Pentacles. This whole deck so far has been only Major Arcana and Swords and Pentacles for you. So again, you've got that perfect balance. You've got 3 swords, you've got 3 pentacles. This is your 3rd pentacle of the reading. And this card is mastery. It's this woman here is rich. All the things, all the pentacles that are growing behind her, like fruits. She has an abundant orchard, garden, estate. You know, we're talking about harvest earlier. You've harvested what there is, but you're not out of the growth mindset either. You're growing and harvesting at the same time. And this is the master of your domain. This is you being the master of your domain. And it's really worth noting, this is the 9 of Pentacles, not the 10. The 10 is completion. You know, you're not complete. You're not done. You know, you want the chase. You want things to work out, but you don't want them to work out so well that you're ready to lay down and die with a smile on your face. You still want adventure, love. It's accomplishment, you know. So it's a very important thing to think about this reading is, you know, this card exists in the position of hope and fear. I don't care to read cards like upside down, right side up. I think there's enough meaning in any card that you can read all good and bad in one card, especially in this position of hopes and fears. And I'm always going to be intrigued by the idea that your hopes and your fears are the same thing. So this means you want things to go well, but maybe you're also kind of afraid for things to go well, because what happens when things go well? Well, now you have something to lose. So this woman, you know, she's got this bird in her hand. She's petting the fruit that she's growing. She's hopeful that nothing will spoil this harvest, that no blight or drought or bandits will run through and tear up her farm and her castle, her estate. But her fear is that now that you have something to lose. And then the final card of this reading, the overarching manifestation of everything, was the sun. I mean, that says it all. Your place in the sun. It's the sun in your life. It's if you're a gentleman, it's the sun that you are. You've grown up to be the son your idealized parent always wanted. It's also the son. It's the son you hope to have one day to carry on your legacy in your name. But I think that literally says it all. The perfect manifestation, the perfect alignment, the cycle of the sun. The sun feeds the plants feed the animals, you know, feeds the plants, it feeds us. Everything comes from the sun. And it's the ultimate one-sided relationship. You know, it's the 6 of Pentacles. The sun is the 6 of Pentacles. You'll never be able to give back, you know. And you're being smiled upon by the sun, by fortune or fate or the force. You know, the force is strong with you. You're in alignment. You're a wizard, Harry. You know, son, you were born on a planet called Krypton. You know, this is where you're at. You are stepping through this initial, again, that Joseph Campbell quote. You are accepting a role. You're Clark Kent moving to Metropolis and becoming Superman. You are now. This is just what's in store for you. It's the beautiful mystery of life, you know. The beautiful mystery of life, you know. Rich, growing ground, fed by the sun. And again, the heart of this reading, the center card, was the 6 of Pentacles, which was about giving and receiving, about giving back, you know. So I think as long at the center of this reading, as long as you maintain that free flow of energy. Don't just take, don't just hoard, you know, let things come to you, but let them pass through you, you know, fate, luck, love, money, let it come to you, let it come through you, and let it flow out to others. Be an instrument of the universe. Let the universe flow through you. It will give as much as you give back. Thank you so much, guys. I love you. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.